Hi, Ashley.
Hey, Robin, we're back again.
We are back again. Look at us, we're the plant ladies.
I know. I had some plants in the background. Robin's like, I have to go get a plant. I was like, you really do.
You guys should have let me know. I just received my very first Mother's Day gift, and I will say probably about 4 years from my son, who is actually on a ship right now, and he sent me an orchid. So I was unboxing that before I jumped online with you guys.
That's so sweet. Yeah, we should have let you in on our little secret.
Yeah.
Well, Ashley loves orchids.
Oh my gosh, yes. I have so many.
Mm-hmm.
So totally they're not with me at the moment. They're at my brother's house for some reason, but
you'll get them back.
I'll get them back, yeah.
How are you doing during the quarantine, Ashley?
I'm doing super good. I feel like I've gotten a ton accomplished. Yesterday, speaking of how we can do our anything, so one of my big goals in life is to eventually hike the Appalachian Trail, like the whole thing. And not all at once, though. I just don't have the patience to do that for like 3 months at a time. But me and my new friend that I met actually during quarantine took our first steps on the Appalachian Trail the other day. We hiked 18.7 miles, and I feel super accomplished. And yeah, it's just the best feeling. I'm still like on a high from that. But how about you?
Well, before we get to our guest for today, I will tell you that so far things have been going really well. I go out typically at lunch to get some type of exercise in, unless it's raining, and then I'll just eat my lunch or work through lunch. But typically it's been really good. And one of my hobbies is stock trading. And a person in my stock trading group had said, hey, do you want to do 75 hard? And I thought, well, that sounds super dirty. So now I need to know what it is. And it's actually, it is super hard. You need to follow a diet plan. You need to drink a gallon of water. You need to do 2 45-minute workouts. One can be inside, but at least one outside. You have to take daily progress pictures. You have to read 10 pages of a motivational book. So it's really not weight loss. It's really mental discipline is really what it gets to. So I am super excited. I'm starting on May 26th. So this episode will drop on June 1st. We'll see if I actually do another podcast after June 1st, because I don't know if I'll be able to like walk after all this exercise and dieting and whatever.
Talk though.
But that brings us to our special guest today.
Extra special, I would say.
Extra special. And many of our listeners already know that I talk about my co-pilot, Dawn Grams. Dawn, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
We had been talking, Ashley and I, for several months about different topics that would help people get to their anything. And something that has been on our mind for a while, especially with quarantine and having a little bit more time, or at least it feels like more time to exercise, has been weight loss and sustainability. And I have talked before about doing the very low calorie diet. And I did do that. I lost 74 pounds and gained it pretty much all back again. It was all on me, and I take full responsibility for it. And I will say the food tasted fantastic. However, Dawn went on a journey. I will let her explain it to you. And it was a weight loss journey with Noom. And I think Dawn is a major success because she did it. She stuck with it. She held her guns, and she's maintained, which is really the most critical part.
I have to say, sometimes quarantine, it's the hardest part. I find myself doing online grocery shopping and throwing Triscuits and cheese nips into the basket only to delete them later and going, I don't really need this. It's a want, not a need. Why don't you put some blueberries in that basket, Dawn?
Yeah. So wait, really quick. What is, I've heard of Noom before.
Yeah.
I just they give you just enough where you're like interested to look into it, but they don't actually tell you what it is, at least in the ads that I've seen. So can you explain that before you start?
Sure. Yeah. Noom is this. I kept seeing Facebook ads for it. I was actually on medical leave. I was having some issues and had a hysterectomy and had some complications from that. And automatically, like, I lost 10 pounds within a month, which was amazing. Wow. It was a nice kickstart to what I was kind of contemplating and kicking around in my head. And I had enough time on my hands sitting on the couch, not being able to do much around the house. and really looked into it a little bit about what it was. And Noom is this app, and they take a different approach. They have, you get a personal coach, you get a group coach, you get assigned to a group after a certain amount of time. It talks about the psychological tricks, like about how much food do you really need on your plate. So maybe you don't use the big plate, maybe you use the small plate and just see if you're still hungry after 20 minutes of finishing that small plate. It tells you what foods they have, food color categories, like Weight Watchers has how many foods equal this many points. Noom does food colors. Green is great. Yellow, we're borderline good for you at this point in time. And reds. Red's not so good for you. So like red meats, that kind of thing. So you really have to limit your portions. The good thing for me is I didn't realize that there were 3 different color categories until about 6 months in, and I had already dropped a major amount of stuff. So I learned that from the group chat kind of thing. And it was like, ooh, well, good thing I was eating a lot of salads and soups. So that was the other thing. If you're going out to a restaurant, one of the things that they would do every day for like the first, I want to say about 6 months, you weigh yourself daily. Every single day you are on the scale. And I've read numerous articles since then about nutritionists saying that really is a key. You really need to weigh yourself to understand what you ate the day before and if you're going to gain the next day. Obviously, water weight's always going to be a thing. You're going to fluctuate. Right. But if you see that scale creeping up over time, you really have to take a step back and look at things. So every day I'd get on my app every morning. Before I even showered, I would read my articles for the day. I would weigh myself and put it into the app, and it tracks the history of everything. I think you get like a 2-week free option, and then after the 2 weeks, you pay for it. I opted to continue going down that path. You can record all of your food. You log all of your exercise. Even yard work is considered exercise. That was even a great thing. Like if I'm like, all right, I'm motivated now. I'm going to go out and I'm going to rake some leaves for 15 minutes because I know I'm going to burn some calories here. Yeah. So that's really the gist of Noom. You hit a benchmark though at a certain point where you have to kind of like back off. And for me, that point happened to be when I was on a 2-week vacation in Ireland and Scotland. And the wake up call was, hey, guess what? You get a break today. Wait, what? I don't have to do anything. And it felt off. I developed this routine of things to do every morning, and I integrated it into my life. I integrated exercise in. My husband was trying to get me to do some stuff. We had an elliptical machine downstairs, and a month and a half into going through, and he was seeing the progress I was making and seeing the happiness come back into my life again, that I was on the elliptical machine, must have been about a week before Christmas, 2 weeks. Old machine, you could play Tetris and Space Invaders on it. That's how much I hated to exercise. And I was on that last stretch of 3 minutes, and all of a sudden the handle goes like this and then all the way off to the side. And I walked upstairs and I looked at him and I said, you need to go look at the elliptical machine because I think I just busted it. Long story short, stripped the screws. Next thing I know, he is on Amazon and he ended up buying me a Bowflex. That was my Christmas present that year in 2018. Yeah, 2018. And it was great. It was great to be able to have that back again. I had different, a higher version of the elliptical machine I had, but he didn't want me to lose the ground that I was already making. He could see the progress. And the other thing is having a good support system. I could not give him enough kudos in the world about, I always thought we ate healthy, and we really did. It was just, sometimes it was the portion size. Like, I make food for an army. I had a kid at home, a son, and I couldn't keep enough food on the table to keep him satisfied. I mean, we wouldn't have leftovers for lunches the next day with having him at home. And so that was a different gauge of from making food for 3 people for just 2 people and not having enough for 6, unless I am entertaining or something. Obviously, I'm not doing it now, but it was a big mindset change. Also, like not having noodles all the time or rice all the time and having it be like a treat. swapping things out like riced cauliflower. And he got to try some new things. And so he's been really excited about some of the new recipes and stuff I've tried to really maintain and stick to it. After being able to maintain now, it's been a complete year. It was the end of July 2019. I ended up losing a total of 45 pounds total when it was all said and done, from the time of my surgery to the end of July. And it was interesting along the way, because my dad would come in and he would look at me and he goes, "How much weight have you lost again?" Because he just didn't recognize me anymore either. And it was a good feeling. But I also think he was hinting at my mother to get up and do something. And so they ended up buying an exercise bike, and they have an exercise bike in their living room. She's now retired. She's using that and trying to get some exercise into. I still exercise daily. I track all my meals. I do a lot of planning, and Robin can tell you, I'm a planner by heart. I actually got her to start planning and doing things too, but I have a notebook. It's really sad. It's a notebook, and it has like workouts, and I put how many minutes down, and then I have all of my meals planned out so that when I do my grocery shopping, I don't have to worry or think about, like, I'm focused on what I'm getting for the dinners and not focused on the noise at the grocery store or a craving that once I see a box, ooh, that sounds really good, I'm just going to throw it into the cart. So, yeah.
That's so exciting.
That's awesome. I will say, working with Dawn, when we were in the office and we did work together, you did bring in some really interesting dishes, and they looked healthy. Sounded like they were relatively easy to prepare, because we all know that I don't cook well at all.
I don't believe that.
No, my husband just told the neighbors he knows when it's dinner time when the smoke alarm goes off, which for the most part is pretty true. But anyway, Dawn had some great recipes, so maybe you can share some of your favorite recipes, and Ashley and I can put them on social media for people.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to. I really use Pinterest as a really great go-to. They've got so many great recipes on there that are just, they're low-cal. I mean, swap out couscous for rice. Make a Mexican quinoa bowl. Just simplistic things like that. That really, salads. Okay, who wants to just eat romaine salad? Nobody wants to just eat romaine salad. So it's like, put my restaurant hat on. If I'm at a restaurant looking at a menu, what are my salad options? Oh, I can have taco salad. Well, that's real easy. Oh, I can make a Greek salad and throw chicken on it and get all of this great vegetables. And in all of this, yes, there's some salt on the Kalamata olives and the pepperoncinis, because who's going to have a Greek salad without those two things?
True.
But yeah, I'd be more than happy to share a couple of those recipes with you guys.
I've got a question, something that Ashley and I talk about. Ashley and I typically, probably 3 to 4 times a week, will snap each other our dinners just to get ideas. And Ashley is on this health kick, kind of like you, Dawn, just super healthy, kind of regular veggies. And now that I'm getting prepped up for the 75 hard, because I do think that there needs to be some mental preparation. What I am finding is food prep. Was that a big difference for you, setting aside time?
Yes, that was like a key accomplishment. No different than planning out my meals for the week. I would meal prep on Sundays. I would cut up all of my vegetables. We bought new vegetable keepers, Rubbermaid vegetable keepers. So I always have chopped up peppers, cucumbers, carrots, radishes. There's just this bucket of food sitting in there that is healthy. So if I'm like, hey, I need something crunchy, because my husband, I'm not going to kid you, he's skinny. He's got the best metabolism. So did his dad. He can eat anything and not gain any weight. I look at it and I've gained 5-10 pounds just by looking at it. So if I need something crunchy, I know that the chips are in the cupboard, but I'm going to deter myself and go to the refrigerator. People want veggie dip. Don't buy veggie dip. Buy Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt. Put ranch dressing in it instead. Seasoning pack. Mix it up. You've got a great thing there. You can buy Green Goddess powder stuff. Throw that in the Greek. dress in the Greek yogurt. You're getting more protein in your diet that way, and you're getting your calcium too. So
I think that's such a good point too, because a lot of the times when we do snack, it's just we pick something that's convenient. Like you said, Triscuits, like how easy is that to just go into the cupboard and pull that out and snack on it? And a lot of people don't like to get the vegetables because it's not prepared a certain way. So if you pre-cut them, it eliminates one more boundary and it makes you do that healthy choice. So I love that. That's really great. And then with the substitution, that's so smart. I started doing that, the plain Greek yogurt, when I want like sour cream instead. And I use like skyr, which, do you know skyr? It's like, yeah, Icelandic yogurt. Yeah. So it's such a good, I mean, the thing has like 30% of your daily protein in it. And it tastes exactly like sour cream, and it's better for you. Little things like that, one at a time, you're right. It creates this just like perfect foundation for where you're trying to go. I love that.
Yeah, the other thing is Noom does carry recipes too. So if you pay for the paid version, they have options for you there. People, on your team are very supportive. Your coach reaches out. It was really a support system too. I'm still on the Noom unofficial Facebook page as well. And it's interesting to see the people and the struggles. I've been a mentor for about 4 or 5 different people on that website, on the Facebook page, that just needed a kick. And it was actually funny because this was just like a couple weeks ago. I think she was just like, she meant to message me and hit the video chat instead, and then realized what she had done. She's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that, like hung up. And we chatted on a Friday night for an hour and a half on Facebook chat, just talking about our challenges and talking about our accomplishments. She thought she had just joined Noom, and she thought right away, I'm going to need an extra support person here to help me out. And come to have it, she didn't really need me. She just wanted it there as that extra little cushion in the back.
Yeah.
And she did great. She was meeting all of her goals. She was using her coach. She was doing all of these things. But every week I would ask her, how'd your week go? What could you change differently? And that's exactly what your coach does too. They make you set goals. Like, what do you want to focus on this week? Well, I really need to focus on getting some weights in because I've been doing all this cardio and I really need to change things up a bit. My exercises had consisted of a variety of things. It was the elliptical machine. And then I had a friend who asked me to do the Shamrock Shuffle here in Madison, Wisconsin, because her company was helping sponsor it. And I thought, well, what the hey, I'm going to train for this. I'm going to try to train for this 5K. It's only 3 miles. How bad can 3 miles be? It's pretty bad in March on Bascom Hill when it's 35 degrees outside, but I made it in 45 minutes. And then I had another friend that same year who wanted to do the crazy legs. She knew I had done that Shamrock Shuffle and wanted to do the crazy legs, which is an 8K. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I did it anyways. It is pretty much the same path in the same area, but you finish in Camp Randall here in Madison, Wisconsin. And it was a challenge. I finished it in an hour, 3 minutes, but it kept challenging me to do something different. We did the Haunted Hustle last fall, and it's just been an amazing journey with the variety of exercises. I got back into yoga again. I used to go to the yoga studio a couple times a week, and now with being in quarantine, my yoga studio started an online demand and recorded stuff. So it's like $15 a month. And after quarantine is done and we're deemed safe to go back in, they're still going to continue that option, I found out. And I was super ecstatic for that, because if I'm working from home, which I have been since March 13th, I don't want to get out of my house and go somewhere to go do yoga when I can do it. And yes, there is a difference. They have hot yoga. I have my fireplace. Flip on instant hot yoga right there. Innovation.
What would you tell anybody so I know I'm going to hit some walls when I just don't feel like getting up and working out, or I don't feel like getting up and going for a 45-minute walk outside at 5:30 in the morning or 5:30 in the evening, whenever it is. You never really talked to me about it at work, about you hitting those types of walls, did you? Or
There were
pretty
days.
motivated?
Yeah, no, there were days. Those were the days when we would have really bad days at work, Robin. Whereas like
Great.
the last thing that I wanted to really do was to come home and work out or go to the yoga studio because I really just wanted to get home and decompress from my day at work. But what I did was I tried to flip that motivation around and try to get it into, no, I really need to do this yoga to clear my head from what just happened during my day. And I really need this time for me in order to better myself. I'm not going to just, I take a day or two off. Noom says 150 minutes of activity. There are many other articles out there that say the same thing, 150 minutes of activity. I still hit and exceed that 150 minutes of activity. Last week I didn't. I stopped at 134, and it was because it rained out over the weekend and I really just didn't want to run or do the elliptical inside. I wanted to do yoga, but I knew I should have really been painting my office downstairs, and I just didn't want to do either of them. I wasn't in the mood, and so I didn't. And it's okay. And you have me to talk to, Robin, and I can talk you off that wall.
Yeah, that'll be a daily occurrence, I'm quite sure.
I saw your groceries that you unpacked on your counter the other day. They looked really, really healthy.
Yeah, they were. I was talking to, his name is John, and I was talking to John about the 75 hard, and I knew that the interview with Dawn was coming up, and it just really, it made me more energized and more excited to do it because I know other people are doing it. And I asked one of our coworkers if she wanted to do it with me, and she was super on board right away. And I said, let me make sure that you know what the requirements are here. And she said, nope, she was ready to go. So that's exciting. What did you do, Dawn? Did you have other people that helped motivate you when you were going through your journey?
It was more of, so I did. I have a friend who is a gym teacher. And so I recruited my friend Jill to come and help me in my basement. We did a workout together. I asked her to develop because she has her students. I mean, I tell you right now, I would not have survived her gym class growing up. There was no way I would do half the things that she asks her kids to do. And to this day, she still has them doing stuff, even being in quarantine. But I had her help me look at the weight stuff that I had and really develop some sort of a plan of what areas did I need to work out. You know, obviously for me, it's my inner thighs and my outer thighs, and yoga only does so much of that for you. So adding on a 10-pound weight to your ankle and doing a couple of different variety things made me then order 20-pound weights. And it's funny because my husband uses all of those weights now. So he also decided he wanted new weights. So he ended up getting a set of Bowflex weights, which was great for both of us because it's just one weight and a dial turn to get to the right weight that you want, instead of having a set to throw on this side and then something to throw on this side. And then you're wasting your time during your workout to do that as well. So, but Jill was really supportive. A lot of our friends were too. I had another friend who was actually on Noom and reached out to me, the one that actually helped recruit me to do the crazy legs. She saw how well I was doing and she joined Noom and she was really enjoying it, and she dropped 20 pounds and she was struggling there for a while due to some other work stress that was going on, and gained some of it back, but she's trying to get back on track now. So
For mentoring about 4 people, what is the one thing that's a common theme amongst all 4?
I will say the not planning ahead.
Oh.
That I think is one of the things that can really hold a person back, is not planning things out ahead of time. And that was the theme that I had heard. One person that I mentored was the same thing, worked in IT, sat behind a desk all day long, would still go out for lunch, wouldn't pack a lunch to come in because he just wasn't taking the time for planning. Eventually we got him there and he started planning things out. He was planning going to the grocery store. He planned his list out ahead of time. In the end, he ended up starting to do really well and was losing weight. So that was a good accomplishment on that part. But the other thing is the theme of, they ask for the mentor, but then never get back to you, was hard, you know, and you try not to be that pushy person because I'm pushy enough at work, you know that. I don't want to do that at, you know, when I'm trying to be a mentor here on this people who are really at their lowest and just looking for the right answer. But you have to want to lose the weight and make that change. And it's a mental change. It's a lifestyle change. I try not to call it a diet because it really isn't a diet for me. I still drink wine. I still have cocktails. I still eat popcorn. I still eat Triscuits. I still eat potato chips. It's just all in moderation. And then I plan the rest of my time around that. If I'm having French fries on Friday night with a fish fry, because I will still have a Friday night fish fry here in Wisconsin with a brandy old fashioned, then my next day is a salad. One of my courses is a salad. It's just, you gotta find a balance. And what balance works for me might not work for you, but I'm going to be here for you, Robin, and I'm going to help you out and support you every step of the way.
Thank you. Yeah, 75 hard really isn't, it's not a weight loss. It's a mental discipline challenge, but sure, I'll still need help with mental discipline. Ashley, though, is fantastic about planning. She typically...
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you are. You are so good about it. You make some really good, fresh, healthy meals. They seem relatively easy, like even I might be able to make them.
They're very
And Ashley has lost quite a bit of weight recently.
like 25 pounds.
Yeah, it's been quite a bit. And Ashley's been doing a lot of eating healthy and doing some hiking. Let's hear about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I have found that, so I used to run track. I was very skinny. And then after I started drinking, when I turned 21, my metabolism just, went completely down. And I realized that, I don't know, growing up with a really fast metabolism and running it all off, I just was eating the same thing that I would normally eat. And it really didn't hit me. You know, you hear all these people and they talk about, well, there's a lot of people that will just say, you just need to work out more. Well, that's not the case. A lot of times it's just a calorie deficit that you need to do. Like, it turns out I was just eating too much of certain things, and I was also eating because I was bored. And so part of it was I don't do Noom, but I did get an app that just tracks my calories. And that's what I realized is that I just started tracking literally everything I ate. And just even when I would just get like a handful of like sunflower seeds here and there, if I do that 10 times a day, you're putting too many calories in your body. And so I just realized that I was just eating when I was bored. And so now I literally just track everything. But part of it, like you said, Robin, is making sure I plan out my meals ahead of time. So I typically also, I completely switched my whole idea of like what is okay to eat, because they tell you carbs are bad. You know, so much of this keto is like, don't eat carbs, it's really bad. And so I was like, carbs are bad. Well, that's untrue. Like it's just in moderation, like you said, Dawn. So I just started tracking, you know, I eat a bunch of carbs in the morning now, and I just don't eat them in the afternoon. So I'm very specific about what I eat, when I eat it, like in what direction. And then I eat a lot of salads. I snap Robin pictures of my salads all the time, but they're really like, I would say they're pretty simple, but they're very like dynamic. There's like a lot of different things in them. So that's why I think it's cool that you're talking about Noom, is it seems like it's an approach of like food and then exercise and then psychology behind it. Mm-hmm. And like, I've had to do that too. But then as far as hiking, I've always loved hiking, and with the quarantine going on, I've had a whole lot more time to do it. And so actually one of my new friends that I met her like, I don't know, 2 weeks after the quarantine started on a hiking trail. And it was almost like the universe was just like coming together, because we both were looking for someone to hike with. And so we've just been hitting these trails, sometimes like 2 a week. We always do one really big one on the weekend. And I found that it's just a really good way to just get like a full body workout while also like meditating at the same time, you know, because it clears your mind mentally, but then also, you know, you're hiking like yesterday, or well, I guess it was 2 days ago on Saturday, when obviously the recording won't make sense, but 2 days ago was Saturday. And we went on this like 18-mile plus hike up a mountain, and it was so tiring, but I made sure I packed foods that were nutritious, things that were going to power me, not snacks or anything, but things that were good, like high in protein, high in like magnesium, and stuff that would keep my muscle, and potassium, and keep my muscles feeling good. And I don't know, it's become really good. But I think part of it, like you're saying, is just becoming more mindful of what I'm doing. And then I don't weigh daily. That's one thing I don't do, but I do weigh weekly. And so part of it, though, I will say I was struggling was the water weight. So I started making sure I was like cutting down on salts. I don't know if they talk about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a big thing in the psychological tricks too, is
Right.
making sure that you're looking at labels when you're
Right.
when you're grocery shopping. So I had high blood. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure when I was 30, and so everything's been low sodium since.
But that's so crazy. Yeah. So I actually, a couple weeks after quarantine started, I've been going to the doctor too, because I had high blood pressure and they couldn't figure out why. I mean, my dad has high blood pressure, but not until he was much older. And so they're trying to figure out what it is, but they've actually found that, I don't know, they were looking at something in my liver and something was, and anyways, so eating really cleanly has helped that a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then losing weight has also helped it. But, and there's something, not everyone is going to be different. Like some people it won't cure it. Unfortunately, sometimes it's just genetic, but it does help. Sometimes just eating clean or like cutting down on sodium really does help. And you don't realize how much sodium is in stuff.
Until you start looking at the labels. I have a motto when I'm at the grocery store, and if I'm buying lean cuisines, if it has over 600 milligrams of sodium, it goes back in that freezer section. Yeah. So there are only certain meals of lean cuisines that I will buy just because of that reason. I don't need those preservatives. I can cook at home and not have any of them. I think one of my favorite dishes of lean cuisine is that rancho beef over sweet potatoes, and I've been able to perfect it at home, and it's delicious. And
it's so much better too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
I don't watch for sodium as much as I watch for sugars.
Do you have a sweet tooth, Robin?
No.
Oh, okay, because I don't have one either. I don't like anything that has any sort of sweetness ever. Like even sometimes sweet potatoes are too sweet for me.
Well, I do like cinnamon rolls, but
you made was it a peach pie? What did you? Oh, rhubarb pie.
I made a rhubarb strawberry pie.
Yeah, that looked really good though. See, I could eat that in moderation.
That was really for Matt though. He did eat 3/4 of it, so that was good.
Must be delicious then.
What do you eat then, Dawn, for if people have a sweet tooth? What were some?
I like Yasso bars, the Greek yogurt bars. Those are really good for ice cream cravings. Halo Top has some great flavors too out there. So I have a pint of chocolate chip cookie dough in my freezer, but I haven't cracked it open because I've been unfortunately eating. My husband brought home some Reese's peanut butter thins, dark chocolate, and they're just a thin, and they are crack. He brought them home. He said, "Hey, I brought some crack home for you. It's on the counter." He had gone to the hardware store and saw them, and he wanted something at work for sweet for him. And I looked at him. I said, "Are you kidding me? Why did you bring these home?" Now I'm addicted to them. And the last time I got a grocery order, I ordered a bag of them to have here just to have something sweet in the middle of the day. So,
sorry, go ahead.
I do want you to know, Dawn, that ever since you told me about them, I have been on the lookout. Several stores here in the Madison area. Thank heavens I have not found them yet. I will not be buying a bag of them off of Amazon or anything else. But ever since you told me that, I thought, I'll just give it a try. And I have now given up, and I'll just wait until I'm done with 75 hard. And yeah, because there's like no cookies, no alcohol, no Snickers, no cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
Do you, speaking kind of of 75 hard, because that's 75 days, right? 75 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So do you set goals for yourself, Dawn, like where you want to be at certain things? And then do you reward yourself when you hit those goals to like kind of keep you going? Because they say psychologically you're supposed to reward yourself when you do good.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the other things of you. Thanks for bringing that up, Ashley, is making sure that, when you set these goals, if you're attaining your goal, making sure that you're giving yourself something a little extra for it.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what I had hit. It might have been like hitting 150 pounds. Robin looked at me. She goes, "That's a really nice purse." I said, "Yep, that was my goal."
Yes.
It's a really pretty, like, yellow and black Coach bag. And my husband's like, I don't know if the bank account can really keep up with what your goals are, but simplistic
That is a
things like
good problem
going and
to
getting
have.
a pedicure, you know, just
Yeah.
little things like giving yourself a little love for the day, you know, taking time for yourself, whether it's a facial, just little things. If there's a new pair of shoes, a new pair of pants, something. And I will say, because I did lose so much, weight, I didn't go out and buy a whole set of new clothes. It was like one or two things. And then it was when I knew where I was going to land, then that was the big overhaul of my wardrobe. And I will say that for anybody who loses that amount of weight, is using a shop that will resell your clothes or buy them from you is great. We have a place here in town that buys labeled clothes and will give you cash for you bring in. And so I have a lot of Athleta, Gap, Banana Republic. I've always loved those labels, and they took a lot of the stuff that was still in season, so that I could push that money towards buying the new clothes, which was great too.
That's got to be such a great feeling.
It was a really great feeling, and it still is to this day. It still is, because I've been able to maintain. And so now I know I have the mentality to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I did it before. I mean, when I met my husband, I had friends who were concerned about how skinny I had looked at that point in time. And they said, we were about this ready to do an intervention on you. And I said, but that's what happens when you're single and can go spend, an hour and a half to 2 hours in the gym 7 days a week.
It's true.
That's what happened. I was able to eat everything I wanted to eat and drink at that point in time.
Yeah.
I will forewarn you though, Ashley, when you hit 30 and you hit 50 and you hit there's other new challenges in your life at that point in time that you're going to have to keep up with somehow.
Yeah. When did you start feeling that so you start doing all these habits and stuff? When did you start feeling it become a second nature and that you didn't have to quite think about it as much?
I want to say it was probably about that point I was really worried about this 2-week trip we were taking with some friends in Ireland and Scotland. Yeah. I knew we would potentially be walking around and doing a lot of sightseeing and stuff, but I also knew how we had planned out our itinerary. We'd be spending a lot of time sitting in the car. So how was I still going to accomplish trying to get a workout in if I could, or counteracting my meals to, like, my husband and I ended up splitting stuff because it was just too big of a portion. When you go to a restaurant, you can't eat everything by yourself. As a society, we've just become this whole thing. And that was the other thing, as Noom said, if you go to a restaurant, don't eat the whole thing. Ask for a to-go container right away, throw half of it in it, and then just eat what's on your plate. And that's really just part of it. And so we started splitting meals. The couple that we were traveling with, we wouldn't leave our hotel. We would eat breakfast at like 9, but then just because it was lunchtime, and we had to stop and eat. And I'm like, but I'm not hungry. Why am I eating? And so my husband and I are like, well, we'll just share a meal. And then even at dinner, it got to the point where we just started to share meals. And my husband and I still share meals to this day. It makes sense for us. And we could get 2 things and that's fine. We ordered out Chinese a couple weeks ago and picked it up, and he gets what he wants. I get what I want, but then we share and we do those things. It's never a full serving of stuff. So, but that was about the time, Ashley, that I realized, like, hey, I'm so used to doing this. I'm worried about it on vacation, and I really need to keep this up because I've made this significant progress. And I know I hit some plateaus along that way where I was like, I'm not losing anything. What is going on? And I got frustrated and ticked at myself, but I didn't let it get me down. I just used that as fuel, as determination to reach that goal of 145. I just wanted a healthy BMI. That's all I wanted. That was my goal. I exceeded that goal. And Robin can tell you, I always try to overdo whatever goal I've set. I will never back down from it. And I have proved to myself that I can do this. And I've also made a vow that I am not going back. I got rid of all of my pants except for one size up from what I wear now, because I was concerned if I gained it back a couple pounds, maybe I wouldn't be able to fit into it. At this point, and I've had friends who have doubted this too. Aren't you worried about it? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be that person. No, I'm going to prove you wrong now.
Exactly. I was going to say, now they're the naysayers and you have that extra oomph now.
Yep. Game on.
Try me. You had a question, Robin. I think I interrupted you. I don't know if you still remember it. Oh, you said
that was like 3 minutes ago. Forget it.
Oh.
I have no idea what I was going to say. God knows all about that.
Love it.
Whatever.
No, I think that's really.
I will say that I do remember Dawn coming into, at work, we have either workstations that are out in an open space concept, or we have things called havens. And they have sliding doors, and they're just little private areas for one person to work. And then we have some dual havens. And I do remember going in to say good morning to Dawn. And she stood up and said, "Can you look at my behind? How do these pants look? Should I get new pants? Are they too big? Are they?" I was like, all right, well, you look great, but yeah, you probably need new pants. I love you. And I'm like, yeah, I love you too, Dawn.
I just needed that because my husband said it, and I was like, for the love of me, I just never believe anything. Yeah, you look fine. Or here, try this on. And I'm usually like, that is not going to look good on me. I already know it. And then I try it on and it looks just fine. And then it's in the shopping cart kind of thing. But I was just like, yeah, I think I need new pants. They're kind of falling down here. And I think it was my orange pair of pants that somebody said I looked like a pumpkin one day with my orange pants on.
That's our brand colors. I love the orange pants, and I've never seen them before.
Dawn rocks the orange pants.
Oh my gosh. If you have a picture in the orange pants, send us so we can use that for your thumbnail.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a picture of that, but
no.
Any last words for anybody that might already be on Noom and is struggling? Can they reach out and contact you?
Absolutely, Robin. I'm more than happy to be a mentor. I also highly recommend the Facebook unofficial Noom page as a good resource. There are a lot of people with a lot of different experiences on there that come from a lot of different worlds and journeys and backgrounds, and that everybody is there. I've not seen very many negative things. We even have an FU Friday, which I think is just phenomenal, because at that point of the week, you're ready to just trash can everything. If you've had a rough week at work and you just really want a cheat meal or something of that nature. So yeah, I'd be more than happy, Robin, to have people reach out to me.
Great, because I think you would be, and I know that you are, a great mentor. And I'm sure that there's several people out there, I call it the quarantine 20, that probably might need a little jump start when the economy starts to open up and restaurants and bars start to open up. And it's the summertime, people want to go outside. So I think it's a great time for people to try new things and experiment and challenge themselves. So it's always nice to reach out to somebody and get that extra help that you need. And no, you're not crazy. This is just the journey that we're on today.
Absolutely. Yep. There's going to be two groups of people that come out of this whole entire quarantine. Those that went the healthy route and decided to start exercising. And then there's going to be those that just decided to say, nah, I'm done. I'm just going to stuff my face because this is how I deal with stress. And so it'll be interesting to see statistics in, another year after all of this is said and done. So
very true.
Very cool.
Thank you, co-pilot. You're the best co-pilot ever.
No, you're the best co-pilot ever.
I just feel like this is the most anticipated episode yet. We've been hyping this up for what? This is going to be our 12th episode, 13th episode?
Oh, lucky 13 then.
I think it's lucky 13.
Oh, nice. 13. That is my lucky number. That has always been my lucky number through school.
I'm like 99% positive it's the 13th episode.
Okay.
Yay!
Well, Vanessa was 10. Martin was 11. So I think Dawn's 12.
Oh, I thought it was 12.
First my bubble.
Sorry, Dawn.
I can figure this out right now.
Yeah, I have a list of all of our episodes out there.
What? I just refuse to believe it. I thought this was perfect. Let me see. No, I have Martin as 12.
Oh, Dawn, you are 13.
Yay!
According to our syndication place, but I don't know. I just remember writing
it was off.
Oh, it might just be off.
Hang on, I'll go look.
Did you count a mini-sode maybe? Or did I count a mini-sode on accident?
list of episodes. Episode 13.
Yeah.
Oh, it was because Shelby was 11, Martin was
Okay,
12, and
there you
Dawn
go.
is 13.
Yeah.
See, I am in this weird sphere of life where everything is just like coming together, like numbers and like
Mm-hmm.
things just happening, and like I see lucky numbers everywhere. Like I see like signs everywhere.
You
And
should buy a lottery ticket.
I really have considered it. Like it is the weirdest thing. I was talking about butterflies the other day, and we may not include this in the episode, but whatever. I was like reading something, was talking about butterflies and like you have to go through the hard stuff, blah, blah. And I was like, butterflies must be my like spirit animal at this moment. And then we hiked to the top of the mountain, didn't see any wildlife. We hiked to the top of the mountain on Saturday, and it's on a mountaintop, and this big yellow butterfly, which yellow is also my power color right now. Big yellow butterfly just flies right above me and my friend. And I was like, what are the chances of this? Butterflies aren't at like 4,000 or what was it, like 6,000 elevation or something. But
Funny. That's awesome. My birthday is 11/11. And so
Love that.
it's very freaky for me many times because when I look at the clock, it's usually 11/11, and that means angels are around
Yep.
you
Yes.
and watching you. So it's a little weird to have that kind of concept. Like you read those things like, what does this mean? And then you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. But when it was 2011, I deemed that my second golden birthday, and we went out on the town.
Oh.
We went out and had a great dinner with a bunch of friends, and then went down to the Essen House in Madison and did boots and polka, and it was a great night.
I can't wait for Ashley to come to Wisconsin.
I know.
Yeah.
Soon. So my birthday is 6/6, by the way. So it's like 11/11, 6/6. In 2006, I had a big celebration. What is yours, Robin? Are you a double number? No?
No, I'm an 8-3.
Dang it. No, but I am coming. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, no, I said I am coming to Madison soon. So
Good,
Yes.
good. Yeah, I told Robin, I said, when you do
Robin
come
says-
to Madison, we need to make sure that we get together.
Yes.
Robin says I can't come up there until the green light from your guys' government or whatever. Because
Yeah.
I came up like months ago. I'm pretty fearless.
Yeah.
I'm fearless, but I'm trying to be responsible as a human and not give it to other people. Who knows? So
Yeah, you don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, my friend her roommate had COVID, just didn't have had like one symptom or something.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
So weird. Well, cool. Thank you again for coming on. And
Thank you, Dawn.
You're
yeah,
welcome.
I'll see you at some point. But to all of our listeners, stay awesome.
And keep reaching for your anything.
Bye.
Bye.